trans lobby, they have kind of vilified me and tried to paint me out as a bad person just for sharing my story.
Dramatic change of heart for the man who once identified as a Korean woman.
What have I actually become?
Ollie London has been one of the most controversial social media stars to rise into the mainstream media in the last few years. The reasons for him being so controversial, however, have many people completely puzzled as to whether he is just another troll using hot topics in the news to bring attention to himself, or if he is genuinely serious. But recently, the Ollie London saga has taken one of the most bizarre turns in its entire timeline, and he has managed to cause even more of a debate on social media than ever before. So, how did we get here? And is his latest antic just a stunt, or is he being serious? Ollie London was born in London on the 14th of January, 1990. Not much is known about Ollie's childhood, and as far as we know, his early life seemed to be that of any other average person growing up in his city. Like many other teens and young adults, Ollie had a specific interest that he was extremely passionate about. Ollie was absolutely infatuated with the history and culture of South Korea. He was so interested in Korean culture to the point where he actually turned his passion into a career by moving over to the country in 2013 to teach English to Korean students. His partner at the time was a native and even started to teach Ollie the new language. While living in South Korea, Ollie became immersed in the culture and soon became familiar with K-pop groups. This new fascination with K-pop led Ollie to idolizing, or some would say obsessing, over the singer Jimin from the super popular K-pop band BTS. Obviously, having a certain musician or celebrity that you look up to is completely normal, and most people can pinpoint that certain someone who inspires them. But Ollie took his love for Jimin and South Korean culture a bit too far. He shockingly shared on social media that he was actually receiving plastic surgery to change his appearance, as he now identified as Korean himself.
I know a lot of people don't understand me, but I do identify as Korean. And I do look Korean now.
Ollie had gotten 18 cosmetic procedures done, all to make himself look like his idol Jimin, and he followed up this vlog with a Twitter post that seems too unreal to believe he was actually serious. In the tweet, Ollie said, "This is my new official flag for being non-binary person who identifies as Korean. Thank you for the overwhelming support. It was hard for me to come out as they, them, Korean." The tweet on its own seems pointless, but when he said that his pronouns were Korean, this made him become a viral meme all over the internet. The news that Ollie London was now identifying as Korean and was also trying to be his idol Jimin became one of the most talked about topics of the year, and reportedly reached Jimin himself. Big Hit, the entertainment company behind BTS, had instructed media outlets not to ask the group their opinions or feelings towards Ollie in any sort of interviews. As if the infatuation with BTS members weren't going too far as it is, Ollie proved that he was obsessed once again by stating in an interview that people tend to go on church on Sundays and he worships a cardboard cutout of Jimin and pray to Jimin. Ollie was also called out for fetishizing Korean culture and also perpetuating harmful stereotypes about Korean people. Another thing that really pushed things over the edge was when he said he was actually planning to get a surgery to reduce the size of his you-know-what. In an interview, he said he doesn't want people to get offended by this, but in Korea, the average size is like 3.5 inches, and he gets trolled all the time. People say, "Oh, you can't be Korean, you're not 100% Korean," and I just want to be 100% Korean. I would even have a reduction, so I'm like the Korean average. That's how far I'm willing to go. As the months went by, however, like always, people stopped caring as much about the trending topic of the moment, and Ollie London returned to making terrible music somewhere along the way, and he started to identify as a trans woman and began using she/her pronouns. But where this sits exactly on his timeline is unclear. However, this last week, Ollie has managed to make headlines for bizarre reasons yet again, as he recently came out as a Christian and revealed that he was detransitioning back to a British man. Ollie claimed that he had found God and was now looking to get baptized. This was literally the most insane character arc I think that anyone has ever achieved on the internet. But although the news just seemed like another attempt to grab attention, Ollie's views and personal morals also did a complete 180 as he began to make extremely transphobic tweets, calling out the trans community and making all kinds of accusations. He labeled the trans community as a cult and exposed his support for J.K. Rowling, who has infamously been called out for her transphobic views. Because of the dramatic change within Ollie's personality, and now he seems to be a perfect puppet for right-wing media to use as a fuel for people's transphobia, Ollie was invited on Fox News to talk about his new path in life with Tucker Carlson.
So why did you decide to become a Korean woman? Who told you that was possible?
So obviously I've had a difficult time with my gender identity struggles. I was never unhappy with how I looked. So I started changing, I started dressing as a Korean woman, and I realized that was a big mistake and I just want to be a boy.
The interview showed that if Ollie London wasn't just the biggest troll that the world has ever seen, then he is probably just the stupidest person the world has ever seen. In the short discussion, Ollie claimed that the reason he had all the plastic surgery and transitioned in the first place was because of woke culture and blamed his decision on TikTok.
But you know, these kids can't make these decisions on their own. They're being pushed this radical agenda, and I'm grateful that I've come out the other side. I'm grateful I found God.
This makes absolutely no sense, as Ollie had started getting plastic surgery to look Korean nearly a decade ago, years before TikTok even existed. And in another similar interview, he blamed his regret for transitioning on today's American school system, despite him being educated in England nearly 20 years ago.
But sadly, in America, many woke school boards are now pushing this agenda on children, and that's why I wanted to speak out and share my story too.
The new series of Ollie's media appearances had led him to be called out once again, since he has now taken on the role of being massively transphobic to gain support from bigoted people. All jokes aside, this is so f***ing frustrating because we all know Ollie London was faking it and doing all of this for attention, and now right-wing conservatives get to use him as an example of all the liberal agenda and how it ruins lives or whatever. He is going to hell. Ollie London claiming online pressure made him transition is the most insane thing he could have said. Literally everyone was saying stop, and he was just harming the community and insulting trans people. Apparently that's us forcing him to transition. The king of clout chasing. Twitter users aren't the only people that are calling out Ollie for his clout chasing though. Years ago, the model Frenchie Morgan, who was friends with him at the time, called Ollie out for being a liar and explaining that his lying had ruined their friendship.
Lie 24/7. If you have been following Ollie London on social media, you have been living a lie 24/7. Ollie is a liar, he's fake, and he's a snake.
Frenchie then went on to expose Ollie for not even being as obsessed with Korea and K-pop as he claimed to be. She said in her video on YouTube that despite Ollie literally admitting to worshipping a cardboard cutout of Jimin, even when Ollie lived in South Korea, he never bothered to go and see any BTS shows.
And basically, Ollie was in Seoul when BTS played in Seoul, and he didn't even go to see them. So that's how much he couldn't care less about BTS.
Frenchie finished off the clip by saying that Ollie's ultimate goal is just to be trendy and viral online, and she said that he will use any sort of trend to achieve this goal, no matter how terrible his actions may be.
As trendy as possible and get as many views as possible. It doesn't matter what it takes, and it doesn't matter how nasty and fake you will need to be to get there.
So now it's easy to see that Ollie London is probably one of the biggest clout chasers to ever walk the planet. He simply doesn't care whether he has to be a racist to get more views and followers, or if he has to drag down an entire community to win approval of far-right politicians. But the only thing left unanswered about Ollie is when his current persona wears off, what will he transform into next? Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in my next video.